We've only got one episode of Silo Season 1 left, but we've still got a lot of theories. So as always, I'm Al, this is the Geek in Review. I'm going to be talking about some theories, as always, and what's going on in the Silo. Now, I'm going to be dropping a bunch of theory videos this week, so as always, I want to hear your questions and comments. What do you think's going on before we get to this final episode? But anyway, let's get to it. Now, one thing that I didn't mention in my initial review was the flashing number 18. I'm going to call it a keychain. People are calling it a fob, but to me it just looks like a keychain. So what is that? It appears to be connected to the drive, obviously given the numbers. And when it is flashing, I suppose the drive is being accessed. But I don't really understand the point of that per se, because if Bernard knows that the drive exists and what's on the drive, why does he allow the drive to exist, if that makes sense? I did mention in a previous theory video that some of the relics could be traps, and this kinda does play into that, but then when you look at how agitated and anxious Bernard is to get it back, and how worried he is about what's on the drive, it sort of discounts this. Also, I don't think it's a tracking device because Bernard doesn't know where the drive is. But yeah, what did you think about that 18 flashing red keychain? Let me know in the comments below. Do you also think that clearly there must be 17 other relics or 17 other potential hard drives out there? That's an interesting topic, I think. What are numbers 1 to 17? Are they all hard drives or are they other relics? Now, one thing that was introduced in the last episode that I'm told by friend of the channel, Alicia Brenner, that isn't in the book is Sim's family, particularly his wife. And it seems that they're setting Sims up to choose between his loyalty to his family and to whatever's going on in the silo, I guess. And that's kind of an interesting late development. I think it'd be a lot more interesting for the audience if they'd done this earlier on in the season, sort of pushing it in the final few episodes. I don't know, it does add a sort of greater what if question to it, and it does make Sims more interesting and more complex as a character, but I would rather that they'd bled this out over a couple of episodes rather than just squeeze it in between that conversation that he had with him and Bernard. It also seems that Sim's wife might actually be the kind of real power. If you think of Game of Thrones, Robert Baratheon was the king, but Cersei was the one that was pulling most of the strings. So I think Sim's wife will probably go on to be a much more interesting character in Season 2. But also, what happens if Sims decides to side against Bernard? Is he going to use the he wanted to go outside routine, or is it going to be something else? Sims isn't afraid to do what he thinks is right for the silo, and Bernard is coming apart. So these two characters, for me, it looks as if they're going to run right into each other, and clearly only one of them is going to survive. But if there is a power play, I suppose that's a very interesting dynamic as well, because who are people in the silo going to side with? I think that Billings is kind of being set up to make it look as if he might be in that position, but I don't honestly know. And speaking of Sim's wife, the reason that I think she's so interesting is she let Juliet go when she had her. She could have at least incapacitated her or probably killed her and got the hard drive, but she gave her a chance and let her escape. So what is Mrs. Sims playing at, I wonder, and what does she really know? Now, speaking of mysterious actions, Billings was a big one in the last episode with finding and then kind of destroying the Georgia book. I didn't see that one coming particularly, but it makes sense when you think about it. Billings knows how dangerous the relics are, and his position is kind of tenuous already because he's got the syndrome. So if he'd been found with a relic, that would have been a double whammy against him. But what's curious is, and I've rewatched that a whole bunch of times, and I've tried different angles and changing the lighting and Final Cut and stuff like that, you can't see what page he keeps. So that's clearly something that's going to go somewhere in the second season as well. So I wonder what's on that page and who is he going to show it to and why did he keep that specific page. We've only seen a few pages of the book when Juliet found it, and we've not really got that much history on how it's impacted the silo so far, which I think is a little bit odd. But yeah, what do you think? What page did Billings keep, and what is he going to do next with this? And another question is, what is Juliet going to do when she finds out that Billings has destroyed the book? Because so far, that's the only evidence that we've seen of the outside world existing. So yeah, I wonder if there are other pictures, or probably videos, most likely on the hard drive, detailing what at least the outside world used to be like during our time. Of Juliet, we sort of know where she's going to go in the final episode, and it's down. But she's not there yet. And she's got a lot of checkpoints to pass in order to get there. We've seen in the last few episodes. In fact, that's how Bernard confronted Juliet, as he stopped her at a checkpoint. And then in this episode, there was the hacker guy that gets stopped at a checkpoint. So the big question is, how is she going to bypass them in order to get to the bottom of the silo? And this goes back to something that I mentioned in one of the earliest theory videos, is elevators. We know so far there's no elevators in the silo and that their construction has been banned. But that doesn't mean that there weren't ones there in the past. Even if the elevator isn't working, she might be able to use the elevator shaft to navigate the silo without anyone detecting her. I think that's a really strong possibility. And one of the theory videos that I'm going to do in the next few days is looking at what's on the hard drive. So I'm definitely going to keep an eye out for that. But yeah, I think the fact that they've mentioned that there's no elevators in the silo is something that they're going to have to address at some point. Now, the big thing that everyone wants to talk about is the ending and the cleaning, and that's for a separate video, because I want to go back and I want to watch the initial first 2 episodes again, just to see if there's any details that I missed out. As I said, I'm also doing another video on what we've seen on the hard drive as well, so if you want to make sure that you don't miss that, subscribe to the channel if you haven't done it already. And I keep saying it, but I want to hear your theories on what's happening in the finale of Silo. If you've read the books, please don't post spoilers. It's been pretty good the last few weeks. I've not had to delete any Silo comments with spoilers in them. So I really do appreciate that, guys. And I really do appreciate all the support that I've had when I've been covering this show. So let's go over some of your questions and comments. Shakem Mitchell 5024, sorry if I mispronounced that, says, I believe the mayor is going to send Sim's wife out to clean in the next episode. Yeah, I think that's a distinct possibility, or at least the threat of doing that. Because again, as I said, Sims seems to be wavering or debating his position in the silo, so of course Bernard is going to manipulate that. John Hooferin 5050 says, yeah, I'm wondering what about the wireless receiver alarm thingy that the mayor has. Is this Silo 18 and is someone watching the Watchers? Thanks for the video. It could be the 18th Silo, I suspect, but then we'd probably see the appearance of the number 18 or get referenced a lot more. I think this is more the 18th relic or hard drive. But as for the key fob keychain thing, yeah, I think that's just to let people know that it's being accessed. I really hope that they do explain that, but I don't think we're going to get it in season 1. But thanks for your comment. AF564 says, always look forward to the Silo videos, especially the mysteries of the Silo theory videos. Thanks, I like making them. I'll be honest, the theory videos are my favourite part of, or asking questions are part of any show. I like trying to work out what's going on, and obviously so do a lot of people, so thanks for that, means a lot, especially the repeat viewers, not just yourself, AF. But as I said, this is just the first in a series of videos I've got planned for this week. I'm going to be going over some old theories, coming up with some new ones, and anywhere in between. But as always, I want to hear what you guys think, so let me know in the comments below, or you can follow me on Twitter at The Geeks Reviews. And as always, my name's Al. Don't ask to go outside, but thanks for watching.